government today has announced of slashing the budget by 244 billion rupees. In the face of low revenue collection and high spending, the government had no option other than slashing a massive chunk of the budget. The volume of revenue collection in terms of budget size has been deemed lowest in the past several decades, while the revenue collection has gone down by 15% in comparison to the same time last year. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. The government slashes the current budget by 244 billion rupees, a low revenue income attributed as the primary reason for minimizing the budget volume. The Election Commission announces by-election in Chitwan Constituency 2 on 23rd of April. The seat had become vacant after the election of Rabi Lamichhane was scrapped by the Supreme Court. Officials in Turkey issue 113 arrest warrants in connection with the construction of buildings that collapsed on the Monday earthquake. Death toll climbs to over 28,000. And coach of national women's squad Ananta Thapa says Nepal's upcoming matches against India will be a good opportunity to collect experience for the team. Team Nepal confident of positive results. Finance Minister Bishnu Paudel, presenting the midterm review report in the House of Representatives today, has said that the budget for the fiscal year 2079-80 has been downsized by 244 billion rupees. The government decided to slash the shape of the budget after not being able to receive expected amounts in revenue collection, external loan and grant due to the Russia-Ukraine war, global recession, among other issues. However, the government has not decreased the amount much in the internal loan it collects. The budget of 1.793 trillion rupees, which was brought by then Finance Minister Janardhan Sharma on 29th of May last year, has been downsized by 244 billion rupees to 1.549 trillion rupees, which is 14% less than the previously announced size. Finance Minister Paudel told the House that the targeted economic growth rate of 8% cannot be achieved due to the slack in financial activities. He also informed that the government target of not letting the inflation rate go above 7% would now be a challenge for the government. The government's revenue collection has been the lowest since the fiscal year 2024-35. Until mid-January last month, the government had collected revenue of 490 billion rupees, whereas the target was 651 billion rupees. The government has now reduced the target of annual revenue collection to 1.244 trillion rupees, down by 11.29%. Revenue collection has been 24.8% lower than the target and 15% lower than the same period last year. Finance Minister Bishnu Paudel presented the midterm review report in the House of Representatives today, as the government has to do so in 6 months from budget announcement as per the Fiscal Procedures and Financial Accountability Act. The Election Commission has announced by-election in Chitwan Constituency number 2 on 23rd of April in just under 2 months' time. Issuing a press release today, the Election Commission has said that the by-election in Chitwan Constituency 2 has been announced as per the Clause 68 of the House of Representatives Election Act 2074. The Chitwan Constituency 2 was vacant after the Supreme Court scrapped the election of Rabi Lamichhane from this constituency as per Clause 13 of the House of Representatives Election Act 2074. The Election Commission will also hold a month-and-a-half-long voters updating program in Chitwan Constituency 2. As per the press release, the nominations of candidates will be held on the 3rd of April. The final list of candidates will be released on 6th of April, and the election symbols will be handed the same day. The Nepal Medical Association has called off its protest programs after reaching a 6-point agreement with the government. The agreement was reached between the talk team formed by the government and Nepal Medical Association. The Nepal Medical Association had decided to halt all services except emergency services at hospitals throughout the country today, demanding to punish the police personnel who had assaulted Trauma Center's doctor in front of Bir Hospital while President Bidya Devi Bhandari was being escorted to the federal parliament on Friday. The government's talk team was led by Secretary at the Office of the Prime Minister Ganesh Pandey, while the Nepal Medical Association team was led by Association President Dr. Lochan Karki. Both the sides agreed to punish the guilty as the police personnel who had assaulted the doctor was already suspended and an investigation into the incident had already started. Association President Dr. Karki informed that the government has agreed to bear the medical expenses of the injured doctor, and the association would turn in a suggestion to the government within a week regarding the VIP security management work procedure. An agreement was also reached to effectively manage the security of health workers and health institutions as per the Act regarding the security of health workers and health institutions. A meeting of the high-level political mechanism formed to support the government has decided to make the seven-party alliance what it said more formidable. At a time when various speculations have been made regarding the future of the government, the meeting at Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal's official residence in Balwatar decided to give full support to the government. Emerging out of the meeting, RPP President Rajendra Lingden said that the meeting dwelt on reaching all decisions on consensus. Lingden also claimed that there was no dispute in the party regarding the presidential election and candidate. The meeting had reviewed the works of the government since Prime Minister Dahal assumed office. The meeting also discussed the ways of bringing Rashtriya Swatantra Party into the government. The Council of Ministers of Lumini Province has gained a full shape 1 month after the formation of the government. Chief Minister Leela Giri expanded the province cabinet yesterday. The office of the Lumini Province Governor has issued a notice regarding the names of the ministers and portfolios. The newly appointed ministers were administered their oath of office and secrecy this afternoon. The ministerial portfolios were shared following consensus among the ruling coalition parties. With the Chief Minister, CPN-UML has 5 portfolios. CPN Maoist Center has been assigned 3 ministries, while Rashtriya Prajatantra Party and Janmat Party have 1 ministries each. Meanwhile, Nagrik Unmukti Party, which has supported the government, has decided not to join the Council of Ministers at the moment. Provincial Assembly Leader of the party, Dharma Bahadur Chaudhary, has said that Nagrik Unmukti Party will not join the government until the patron of the entity, Resham Lal Chaudhary, and other members are released. Welcome back. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. Here's the question. What could be the reason for the delay in the distribution of National Identity Card? Your options are A, procedural hassles, B, slack employees, and C, deemed unnecessary. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. A U.S. F-22 fighter jet shot down an unidentified object over Canada yesterday, the second such shoot-down in as many days as North America appeared on heightened alert following a week-long Chinese spying balloon saga that drew the global spotlight. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced the shoot-down on Twitter and said it took place over the Yukon Territory in the country's north. He said Canadian forces would recover and analyze the wreckage from the object. Trudeau also said he had spoken with U.S. President Joe Biden about the incident a day after Biden ordered a shoot-down of an unidentified flying object over sea ice near Deadhorse, Alaska. The U.S. military yesterday was still tight-lipped about what, if anything, it had learned as recovery efforts were underway. The Pentagon on Friday offered only a few details, including that the object was the size of a small car. It was flying at about 40,000 feet and could not maneuver and appeared to be unmanned. U.S. pilots and intelligence officials have been trying to learn about the object since it was first spotted on Thursday. It noted difficult Arctic weather conditions that hinder search and recovery efforts, including wind chill, snow, and limited daylight. Israelis mourned yesterday 8-year-old Asher Menachem Pali, who was killed when a Palestinian driver rammed his car into a group of people at a bus stop on the outskirts of Jerusalem on Friday. Asher will be laid to rest next to his brother, Yaakov Israel Pali, who was killed in the same attack and was buried the same day. The driver, a 31-year-old from East Jerusalem, was shot dead at the scene by police officers. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described the incident as a terrorist attack and ordered security forces to be reinforced, and the U.S. Office of Palestinian Affairs said it was working with both sides to prevent escalation. The incident occurred during a period of rising anxiety in Israel over security following an attack in January in which a lone Palestinian gunman killed 7 people outside a synagogue. Israeli forces have carried out hundreds of arrests over recent months during nearly daily raids in the occupied West Bank that have seen bloody gun battles with Palestinian militants. At least 42 Palestinians, including gunmen and civilians, have been killed this year. The United Nations, United States, Britain, Germany, and other countries condemned Friday's attack. A 6-year-old boy, 8-year-old boy, and a 20-year-old man were killed, and 4 more people were wounded. Footage showed a blue car that had crashed into a pole in front of the bus stop in the Ramat area, a part of Jerusalem that was annexed by Israel after the 1967 Middle Eastern War in a move not recognized abroad. Demonstrators demanding the resignation of Peruvian President Dina Boluarte took to the streets of Lima yesterday and clashed with security forces who fired tear gas to try to disperse the protesters. Hundreds lined the streets with signs calling for her resignation, waving banners and chanting slogans. Security officers dispersed the protesters in an attempt to maintain control over Lima's historic center, an area where Lima's Metropolitan Council has decreed a ban for at least 180 days on all public gatherings that threaten public safety or health. Protests over the removal and arrest of former President Pedro Castillo in December have snarled the Andean nation, with clashes between demonstrators and security forces leaving dozens dead. Applications for exit entry services are rising sharply in East China's Shanghai, with a record 380,000 relevant document applications having been handled over the past month, according to the city's Exit Entry Administration Bureau. Data showed 17,000 applications were done on 9th of January, the first day the city resumed such services. It outnumbered 20,000 on February 4th and topped 27,000 on Wednesday to hit a new single-day record, according to the Bureau. The number of documents issued after the Spring Festival holiday increased 24% compared with that before the holiday, as more and more outbound group tours and overseas business trips resumed following the downgrading of COVID-19 prevention and control in the country. The Bureau has extended their working hours and opened an extra 70% of the reservation service to cope with the surge. The Bureau has also increased photo booths and self-service machines to minimize the waiting time for applications. Moreover, as the mainland fully resumed normal travel with the Hong Kong Special Administrative Regions on Monday, the Bureau also saw long queues in front of the smart machines, which provide self-service to issue Hong Kong entry permits. Coach of national women's squad Ananta Thapa has said that Nepal's upcoming matches against India will be a good opportunity to collect experience for the team. Thapa said that the team has prepared well and the girls will play for a win. The national squad is leaving tomorrow to play 2 friendlies against India. The 2 matches in Chennai are scheduled on 15th and 18th of February. The team was bade farewell by the football governing body ANFA at a special function today. Coach Thapa said that despite a short-term training, the team is positive about a good result. The team had trained at Ampha Complex Saddopato for 2 weeks. The team has a mixture of youth and experience, as Nepal's captain Anjila Tambapolli expressed her confidence for a positive outcome. The 30-member team, including 23 players, are leaving for India tomorrow. The captaincy has been entrusted to Anjila. It was Anjila under whose captaincy Nepal's women team had defeated India for the first time back in October in the SAF Championship. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.